Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Hello, American patriots. Welcome to the Douglas Ducote Show. Thank you for joining us tonight. It is always a blessing to be able to do this show and have so many American patriots that are taking time out of their day to sit back and enjoy what I have to say and share with you. We're doing our best that we can to bring you all the current information and the facts about what is happening, not only here in America, but all across the globe. We have two people as guests tonight that I'm blessed to call a friend. I really am. Two wonderful people. Dr. Jerome Corsi, which many of you have seen on Fox News before. All the different Fox programs have had him on, as well as many other television news programs. And he's written lots of books. Very, very intelligent man. We're going to talk about the border and the things that we're wanting to put forward to help get it secure. Also, I'm going to be bringing on Dan Golvich, who is an angel parent. Angel families are those that have lost a loved one to illegal immigration. I've had the opportunity to meet with Dan several times. Wonderful, wonderful American patriot. And we will talk about a lot of what's happening across America that is actually, everything links back to the border, sadly. Today, the House Democrats went into, let's see, how can we possibly put this in a nice way without being too politically correct? They went in and voted to put a terrorist country over the safety of the United States of America. On the War Powers Act, they voted to restrict President Trump from being able to take further action against those that want to kill you and I because we're Americans and they want to kill Jewish people and Israel. And in their incompetent, very small pea brain, chose, I mean, well, let's just be honest with you. It's terrorism over our safety. Now, that being said, I want you to know that it's a symbolic type vote because what they did is absolutely useless, other than it shows the American voter, and hopefully those on the fence will wake the hell up, and those on the left and the Democrats will wake the hell up and realize that these Democrats don't care about you. They want this to be a socialist country. They want open borders. They don't care about MS-13 gang members coming in here and killing your family members, illegal immigrants coming across and doing horrible things. Do they even want to have an immigration policy system where people can come here legally? I don't think they give a damn. I mean, I really don't. What I'm seeing happen across this country right now is very disheartening. I want to share with you my personal feelings about the current state right this moment at 8:05 p.m. Central Time on January 9th, 2020. For those of you tuning in for the first time, I served this country with honor in the United States military. I deployed 4 separate times to combat zones. I also, after my military service, worked in law enforcement for 9 years. I've been blessed to have traveled all over America several times. There's only a few places I haven't been to yet. As far as the world is concerned, through my military operations and military deployments, not just combat, I've had the opportunity to travel to Southeast and Southwest Asia, all over Europe, South Korea, Central America, South America. I'm a worldwide traveler, I guess you could say. I've seen what it's like in other countries. I've seen the devastation. I've seen what it's like to live under dictatorship and what it's like to live under a government that is not looking out for the best interest of all of its people. And I know what it's like to really have a passion to get back to America and have my feet back on the grounds that we walk on. Because of this experience that I've been blessed with in life, I don't take this country for granted. And sadly, millions have. And they are today's Democrat Party and today's what we call the liberals. I used to be a Democrat. When I was raised in South Louisiana, everybody down here were Democrats. In fact, right now it's a Democrat state again. We have a Democrat governor that just got elected for another term. The party that I used to belong to was a party of strength. The JFK Democrats. We were a party that actually shared the same values that Republicans and conservatives do today. And then over time, the far left liberals infiltrated the Democrat Party and ruined it, literally ruined it. Sadly, today, I don't recognize this country anymore. And I am just one of hundreds of thousands of veterans that have left America several times to come back after serving and literally go, what the hell? How are we going where we're going? How is it possible that we have someone that we rescued their family from certain death, bring them to America, and they grow up to be resentful and not appreciative at all, and hate our country, and then get elected to be a member of our Congress. And you know I'm talking about Ilhan Omar. To then swear in on the Quran and say horrible and mean things about our military men and women, horrible and mean things about our vets, about our men and women in law enforcement, about our Constitution, our founding fathers, everything we stand for. Basically, she just pissed on it. What in the hell have we got ourselves into when we allow that to happen? And it's not just her. You know, there's AOC and Rashid Tlaib and, the list goes on and on. Nancy Pelosi. The good news is she's sobered up enough today. She actually laid off the sauce enough to give a press conference. The bad news is she wasn't sober enough to where you could understand what the hell she said. She was pretty much just rambling again. And I look at that and go, that's the House Speaker. That is the House Speaker. That is a complete and total idiot that's gone so far left that she is completely blind to what her party is doing right now. And I'd give her the benefit of the doubt. I don't think she knows. I think she's freaking clueless. I think she just goes with whatever talking points they put in front of her. Every day, I watch the news. I record CNN, MSNBC, and CNN so I can see how things are being spun. I was always taught that you need to know who your enemy is, and they are the enemy of the people. And I look at some of these people that are supposed to be journalists, and I don't understand. I don't understand how anyone born in the United States of America can grow up, get a good education, and really hate, and that's a strong word, hate everything we stand for, and then try and, well, not just try, actually say it. They say it. Let's just take Don Lemon, for example, at CNN. He openly hates white people, except for his boyfriend. Happens to be white. If you didn't know, Don Lemon's gay. Nothing against gay people. I have some gay friends. They don't act like that guy. He openly trashes anyone that supports this president. In fact, he has said numerous times that we are deranged humans if we support President Trump. So we're allowing ourselves to go in a direction that is very, very scary. We're going to talk tonight about the Second Amendment, and we're going to talk about what's happening over in Virginia towards the end of the show. And I'm going to give you a lot of details about that. And Our first guest up tonight is going to be Dan Golvich, the Angel Father. Before I go to Dan, I want to share one quick thing with you. I want you to look up an organization called votevets.org. They are on Facebook, they're on Twitter, and they have their website, votevets.org. I'm going to share a little bit about this group with you at the end of the program, as far as the millions of dollars they're raising to put vets in office. And many of you, probably many of you watching this show tonight, donate to this organization because the average person thinks, yeah, that would be great. I'd love to have a veteran representing me in Congress. But there's things you need to know about this organization that are probably going to scare the living shit out of you. Because after tonight's show, if you still support these people, then you're part of the problem we have in America. Just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you have the best interest for our country. And a lot of the people that are running this organization that are vets, I believe, are just disgruntled vets that something went wrong in their career. And what they're doing by getting people to not pay attention to their website and their actual message, just the outside overview of thinking that they're doing the right thing by donating, is a travesty. This group needs to be exposed, and I'm going to do that at the end of the program. And I hope that you will stay and listen to that, because it's very, very important that you know what they're up to. In the event that you can't stay the full hour with us, then please take the time to look up votevets.org's website and really look at it. Don't just glance over it. And you'll come away shocked to your core what they're doing. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will come back with my good friend Dan Golvich. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code Doug for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues. We're back. Thank you for hanging on there. Please welcome my guest, Mr. Dan Golvich. He is an angel parent. Dan, thank you so much for coming on with us today. I admire you immensely, brother.
Well, Doug, I appreciate you having me back on again. And, we're at a very, just a real crossroads with this country. So we have a lot of things we need to be talking about. And,
yeah, definitely. The president just got approval for $3.6 billion to continue this concrete wall system. And, you've been a part of joining us to talk about the terror block system, and we've been pushing that out there. And, it's proven fact from them that we can get this accomplished in a matter of about 8 to 9 months for just $1 billion of this, and send the rest back to the government. What's your thoughts on that? The fact that $3.6 billion, we're going to continue with a concrete structure that's going to take years.
Well, my thought is we're at the 11th hour with this, and we have a very leaky boat, and we better be bailing with big buckets instead of little cups. And I think a terror block wall that can be deployed in that short a period of time is your better option. long term, yeah, you want the wall, you want the concrete wall, but I think that this is happening so fast with the not just the illegal immigration. I think the whole immigration system, asylum and refugees and everything. We're being flooded so fast that I don't know if we continue down this road that we'll be able to recover from it. So I think that whatever we're going to do, we need to hasten it, because we're on the eve of some really big problems that we may never overcome, and that's my concern.
Correct. And this is the way I look at it. If we don't go with the terror block system, where let's just say within 12 months, a system that can be up, rapidly deployed, in place, helping to push back some of what's coming until we can finish the concrete system, if that's what they decide to do. If we don't do that, knowing that this 3.6 billion is going to give them maybe 50 miles when we got 2,000 left to go. So my thought is that we're going to have, sadly, more angel families added to the list, and more people are going to be injured or killed due to illegal immigrants, most of them that are felons that have been deported before, whether it's some just crazy situation like what happened with your son, or a DWI, or all the other different ways that a human can lose their life. I don't want to see another person, anyone, go through what you've shared with me, what you've had to go through, and other angel families have had to go through. And it seemed like just a short few years ago, the president was on board with you guys, and he had you all up to the White House, and he was talking about you guys, and it seemed like something that was going to be concrete, proof positive. This wall is going to be there, and it's going up. This ain't going to happen. It's just, sadly, it's theoretically impossible to get, with $3.6 billion, which is coming from the defense fund, to get this type of concrete structure more than just a few miles. And then to continue it, we're going to need way more than 3.6. Well, you already got 1 billion there to shoot with it and go. So that's my biggest concern, Dan, is we're going to add to the angel families.
Yeah, I think we will.
That's very heartbreaking.
Yeah. I'm almost 2 weeks from now, I'm at 5 years, and let me tell you, this isn't like losing a kid this way. It changes the game, and it changes everything. And the best way I can honor my son is to the extent that I can, shout it from the rooftops that we need to do something, and we need to do it now. We can't wait 5 years. We already knew when Trump took office, anybody in their right mind knew that Paul Ryan wasn't going to give him money for a wall. We already knew that ahead of time. I don't think you're ever going to see a legislative body in Washington, D.C. that's going to give us the funds we need to secure the border. They don't want the border secured. And so we have basically, in my opinion, a window of time with President Trump. And so at best, we're going to have 5 years to do this. I don't know if you can even complete the whole wall in 5 years. But that said, I think that the terror block system in the interim makes a lot of sense, because we need to stop the bleeding now, not 5 years from now. It needs to stop now. And amongst other things, we really need to take a really good look at our asylum, illegal immigration policies, because I think that they're being used against us as well. And so it's just, we're at, like I say, at the 11th hour. We're at 11:55. Maybe it might be past midnight. I don't know. I hope we're not.
Dan, do you see, or and I guess you can't speak on behalf of other angel families, but the way I look at it is the people opposing securing this border is the Democrat Party and liberals across America.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see them putting illegal immigration over American citizens. I mean, that's almost like a slap in the face to you guys.
Well, that's because they don't give a rat's ass about American citizens, Douglas. They just want, they're pressuring the vote. It's demographic warfare. They know exactly what they're doing. It shows you how openly treasonous these people are. Okay.
Right.
It's, to me, it's a banana republic right now, because they're doing this out in the open. I mean, they're basically saying to American citizens, "Hey, screw you." You know.
Yeah. They're not hiding.
You're not. Yeah. They're not trying to hide it. Guess what's coming? You know, our voters are coming, and boy, oh boy, man! Once we get power, wait till you see what happens. Wait till you see what we do to you and your inalienable rights. You know. Right. You're gonna really see a Marxist socialism party then, and that's exactly what's coming. Like I've always said, I don't just grieve my son; I'm grieving my country, because I personally believe our greatest threat, Douglas, is not overseas. It's not. Our greatest threat is right here at our border, and with our suicidal, treasonous, insane immigration policies. That includes asylum and refugees and everything else. That's how we get, you know, Omar and the squad, or at least two of them. And you know, there's more of them to come. I mean, we're going to be playing on Omar whack-a-mole pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, that's what these Democrats have done. I think the whole thing is for votes. All right. They get them in here. They're going to get them to vote Democrat because they welcome them with open arms. They gave them all these benefits, you know, more so than anyone else gets, more so than our veterans get. And then a prime example of where the country starts leading once you open that floodgate is what's happening right now in Virginia, where now the Democrats have managed to get enough people in there. A lot of them are illegal immigrants. A lot of those are people they brought in, in programs from refugee camps. For instance, like what happened in Minnesota, how Alejandro Omar got elected. So now we have the state of Virginia that's going on this gun grab. And it's not just about background checks with them and the scary AR-15. They literally want to strip the people of Virginia from having any kind of weapon other than what our founding fathers had when they wrote the Constitution. And so I'm looking at Virginia going, folks, wake up. This is what they want to do with the rest of the country by keeping this open border. Then you have this runaway train. And if they get away with that in Virginia, then all the other Democrat-run states are going to follow suit. And you know, I'll be down there on the 20th along with a lot of other patriots. And, you know, it's
all the
other sad state of affairs.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to have any Republican states left if we don't stop this. Virginia is a microcosm. This governor, what's his name, Northup, he's a vanguard in this movement of demographic warfare. He's well, actually, the people that are behind this, you know, we know who's behind it. It's the big financial guys. Right. But that is a snapshot of what's going to be. I mean, Texas we're starting to get into that purple, and we're headed blue. I mean, look at how close we came to electing Beto last year.
Right.
And we've had last I heard 1.2 million that we know about that have snuck in here, illegally in the past since then. So there's just no way around
driver's license, which then gets them into registration.
Yeah. It's not only, in my mind, it's not only just a matter of securing the border and stopping the insane legal immigration policies that we have. We're going to have to repatriate people that have thumbed their nose at our immigration laws that are designed to protect our families. And again, my theme is always, the compassion needs to be turned towards the American people, and we need to be put first. And there, we know what the Democrats are up to. That they pretty much admit it. You have a lot of, unfortunately, a significant portion of the Republican Party that they play games and use semantics and try to fool us into thinking that, they're border hawks, when, what they're really trying to do is, we'll secure the border, but we'll just make it legal. We'll make it to where it's all legal. We'll do amnesty and, we'll do all this, we're going to have more immigration from everywhere. It's going to be awesome. And no, it's not. We cannot continue down this road. We can't be the world's lifeboats. Lifeboats sink. They get overcapacitated and they sink. And that's, if anybody, it's just like, the Pew Research Center said, they did a survey on this, and we're looking at 73% of all immigrants that vote in this country vote for who? And so what are we expecting? You can expect Virginia everywhere. Virginia is going to be the whole country.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we have right on the border there. We have sleep people coming in from local countries and infiltrating themselves throughout the nation. When we got former members of the CIA and the FBI coming out and admitting on all your major networks that they're here, and let's hope they don't get activated by the Ayatollah to tell them what to do. I hate to make a prediction, but this is my thought. They hate Americans and Christians so much that I believe the next attack, if it turns out to be terror cells, Muslim terror cells from Iran, then I believe it's going to be on a Sunday in churches across America. And that's how they're going to make their stand. They're that hateful. And here we are. They know they're here, yet won't do anything to stop it because they haven't committed the crime yet. Other than, they came here illegally or stayed past their visa or what have you. When we got the FBI admitting we have 50 known sections across America where they know training camps for these folks, and we don't do a damn thing about it.
Nope.
So it's gonna, not only is it a danger to American citizens, but then you also have the situation where you bring in these refugees and pump them all into one district, which is how Lamar came to be. We save her and her family, and then she turns against us.
She's a symptom, she's a symptom of she's the tail of the snake. The head of the snake is our insane refusal to consider who we're bringing into the country in the first place.
Right.
I'm sure there's just hordes of Omars waiting in line to get elected to vote us out of our Constitution and vote us out of our our inalienable rights and all that stuff. And it's just demographic warfare. It's pure and simple. And I don't give a rat's ass who I offend, because my son was politically corrected into the ground at 25 years old. Okay. And I loved him, and he was I loved him more than life. And I get really angry when I see the emphasis, and I see Democrats and some Republicans putting the emphasis on our compassion towards refugees and illegal aliens and people that don't give shit about us.
Right.
They're not coming here to love. They're not coming here to be our friends. Not the, you know, they're coming here and they're not being asked to assimilate. That's what used to happen. We had a process of assimilation. And if you look at the old, at the Constitution and the immigration and naturalization, there was a protocol for doing this. That has been thrown out the window. What this is now is a Trojan horse for, I personally believe it's a Trojan horse for globalists. They need to destroy ideology and our way of life that made America a place that you want to come to in the first place. And to get control over that, they have to reduce the rights of the individual, and that's what you're seeing in Virginia, right? You're seeing that. Listen, the government's right to have a gun isn't going away, is it? You know, it's all about reducing the rights of the individual and getting us herded into their corral. And they're doing it with immigration. They're doing it at the open border. They're doing it with refugees. They're doing it with all these HTB. All this stuff is all designed, in my opinion, to further us down the road of losing our individual rights and being subjugated to Big Brother.
Yeah. And everything we've talked about, folks, all links back to one location, the border with Mexico. That's where all funnels from there. And then goes across and just absolutely is like a fungus in our country. And nobody's against legal immigration. Nobody's against those that want to seek asylum here that have a legitimate reason. But the folks that are crossing the Rio Grande and marching across thousands of miles of desert, facing the elements and the animals, they're the people you don't want here. And there's a reason why just a few miles down from them is the checkpoint, but they won't go through that because they can't. They'd be arrested because of the crimes they've already committed, as we know in the case with the person that was responsible for your son's death.
Yeah, the border goes without saying. I'm looking at the whole hard data on immigration altogether in their voting patterns. And, you know, and yeah, illegal aliens vote. They and if they don't vote, they will eventually, if we do amnesty, you just added on a major voting block for the Democrats and for the, you know, the Marxist Party in this country. That's what I call them. They're Marxists. And I personally, this is just me, I can't speak for anybody else, but personally, I do understand that we've had a history of immigration, and it's been at a moderate level that in a way that it was beneficial for the United States, but I'm not convinced that massive amounts of immigration, whether it's legal or obviously illegal, is a good move for preserving our country right now. I think that we may need to take a break and fix the mess that's here. We got a real mess that's here. Right. And we've got to get, if we're going to have immigration, we need to have an emphasis on assimilation. And I don't see that. I think, matter of fact, asking immigrants to assimilate is not politically correct anymore. That's you're offending them, and it's.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Xenophobic, racist, and Nazi, and KKK, all this stuff, you know. Right. So I'm afraid, obviously, terrified of open borders. I'm afraid of massive, unassimilated, impoverished third world immigration coming in here all at once, because I view it as a wrecking ball and as a Trojan horse for globalism and basically reducing our status as a nation state. And just pulling us in again to the corral. That's just me.
But you're spot on, brother. I mean, you're right. I agree 100%.
That's why I think the terror block wall is a pretty good deal just about right now, because I just don't see us having that much more time. I mean, this thing is really bleeding. And if you look at birth rates, you look at all these things added up, what I see is just a giant reproduction of Virginia. And when Texas goes, if you look at the electoral map on a federal level, in terms of federal elections, when Texas goes and you lose those electors, you're screwed. You're never going to have another Republican or conservative president again. That's over.
Right.
You might have a Republican, but you're not going to have America first. That's a type of president that wants to preserve our way in our way of life and our culture. And I think we're just going to be turned into an economic zone, and it's going to suck.
Yeah. Yes, it is very big. And a lot of people don't realize that in Texas today, especially in the southern parts of Texas, Houston, draw a line from Houston over to San Antonio and south, how you wouldn't know you were in America. I mean, there's that many that are there now.
It's not even just there either. I'm up here in Houston, and man, I mean, I remember walking around in Matamoros 30 years ago when I used to go play music down there in South Padre. We would take a day and skip on down and go over and visit Matamoros, and there's parts of Houston that just, I mean, signs are up in Spanish. Nobody's speaking English. It doesn't look like the city I grew up in. And, I don't view it as a pigmentation thing. I just view it as a language, a culture thing. And, there's always, I don't care what anybody's skin color. That's not the point.
Right.
The point is, I mean, look, we could do it from Europe just as well, and that's actually where Marxism was born. So I just don't feel comfortable with a lot of immigration from anywhere on the planet right now. And I know a lot of immigrants, and I'm not trying to make the case that immigration at times has been very good for the United States, but because of where we're at now, I think that it's just a medicine that we need to cease taking, because we're going to overdose, and we're going to have
very close to that.
And what they're running away from, they're going to turn into what they're they're going to turn what they're running to, what they ran away from, and it's going to be, it's fruitless, in vain.
Exactly.
What's the point? I mean, I guess maybe that's the Democrats. That's their plan to secure the border, is to turn America into such a shithole that nobody will want to come. And we're being overloaded. Cloward pivot. I mean, you're going to have more people that are depending on government. We talk about $22 trillion. It's a lot more than that. And if you look at the government budget pie chart, most of it is entitlements. And as this continues to grow, as we continue to get people on the government tit, it's just a matter of time before it just can't be sustained. And anybody ought to be able to see this. And all I can do is just try to shout this from the rooftops and hope that people wake up, because our freedom and our way of life that we've enjoyed, we were born into this. We weren't born into an oppressive situation. So I think a lot of Americans just have this idea that all of this falls out of the sky like manna from heaven, and it can change, and it can change relatively fast as soon as you turn the vote into a one-party system where you don't have the types of checks and balances, and you don't have the loyal opposition that you used to have.
Right.
It can go really, really fast. And I'm afraid we're being set up for that. That's my opinion.
And I agree. And I'm very concerned about it from many different levels, especially as somebody that, you know, is a combat veteran and a former law enforcement officer, and still talking to my brothers and sisters that are in law enforcement, going, man, Doug, this is just unreal what we're having to face right now, and what we're up against, and what we can and can't do, and how Democrat mayors take over a city, and now they're running the police chief and making the decisions when they have to stand down or not. And it's just
how much sense does it make to send soldiers overseas to fight an oppressive, you know, situation or oppressive government when that's what you're building back at home? So just so they can turn right around and come back to what they fought overseas.
I've had more veterans tell me, and I say it myself too from time to time, I'm starting to not recognize the America that I served for, because this is definitely not how it was, you know, back in 85 when I went in the military. And then, you know, throughout the rest of the 80s and 90s, and then things just started making a huge left turn that I'm very sad to see.
That's why I've become very suspect about a lot of these foreign entanglements. Not that I think that there aren't bad actors overseas. I believe there are plenty of bad actors overseas. But for the same government that tells us that we need to go over there and we need to put down this guy or that guy or this regime that refuses to secure our own border and is on a massive level importing, you know, people that, like I've always said, that aren't coming here with Jeffersonian ideas. It makes me very suspect. I mean, why should we trust them? I mean, if you're really invested in national security, it seems to me the first thing you would do is close the damn door.
Right. You know, yeah, we spend more time, more money supporting other countries' borders than we do our own.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look how much we spend in North Korea and South Korea, all that stuff. And then we're sending soldiers over there. They're getting either killed or maimed, are coming back with this post-traumatic stress issues, which I'm sure that's what any type of situation like that is going to induce on a normal human being. And so what are they coming back to? You know, it's just treasonous.
Yeah, it is.
It's a shameful disregard for our soldiers, and it's a shameful disregard for all American citizens. You know, it's just I view it as treasonous. I've been saying it for years, going back to my old Breitbart interview days, and I don't care what side of the aisle the politician's on. If you're for this shit, in my opinion, you're a traitor.
I agree, brother. Dan, thank you so much. I am 100% on board with you and agree with everything you've had to say here tonight. And I thank you for sharing your thoughts and your perspective with the audience. We want to have you on more. And hey, it's a team effort, brother, to get the word out there and to make people aware of what all is happening. Not just to us as Americans in general, but when you look deeper at the situation like what you've had to experience in other angel families, it just really, really hurts to be an American and know that we're allowing this kind of shit to go down. So thank you very much. We appreciate it, Dan.
You put a lot of years into the service, you know, in the military, defending us, and now you're in civilian life and you're still a soldier. And I so appreciate the work that you're doing. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to me to be able to come on here and voice my opinion and give people, my perspective from a father who had a son gunned down at a red light by a 4-time deported illegal alien, just randomly.
Exactly. Thank you, brother, very, very much. God bless you. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back after this. And we are back. Please welcome Dr. Jerome Corsi. Sir, thank you very much for coming on with us today.
My great pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much, Douglas.
We've been talking about the border. I try and stay on that as much as I possibly can. We've had to deviate a little bit towards what's happening in Virginia to, help them secure their Second Amendment rights. But we're not going to let go of this border issue. In fact, we're still planning at the end of the month and end of February during our border trip going from Brownsville all the way to San Diego. You brought to us about this terror block system, and we just found out that the president got $3.6 million from the Defense Department that has been approved by a federal judge. Is this money going to continue to do this concrete block that they're never going to get across the border? Or do you think we have a chance to get this terror block system put where it needs to be? I mean, there is no other system like this, and it will stop the bleeding that we have. And like you have told us before, $1 billion, we don't need 3.6. We can give 2.6 back and do it within a year.
Well, we've had some positive developments. I think we've now had Chris Barberino has been on the show before, has now contacted and been in touch with the federal agents in the Department of basically Army engineers and also the Department of Homeland Security that are looking at the border. And I think we're going to get a technical evaluation of the terror block system. Now, according to what I'm understanding, according to the appropriations for the wall, there are some specifications, and HESCO may have to make some modifications in how the terror block is actually employed in order to meet the technical specifications in the legislation. But I'm confident the HESCO engineers are going to be able to resolve this problem. And the good news is, I think, really, Doug, your show has made the awareness of this solution, which is used by the U.S. military. This is a 21st century wall concept, a modern use of materials and electronics to combine with a rapid deployment system that can be put in place between now and Election Day to secure the border. There's 1,350 miles completely unsecured. And by the way, I thought your last video did a great job of showing down by the Rio Grande how completely unsecured the border is. And now with Iran heating up, I mean, the opportunity for terrorists to come across this border is another reason we've got to get something in place. And the HESCO terror block and the related products that HESCO have, I think, will solve the problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's good news. I'm glad that that you've shared that with us, that we have things looking up and moving forward with this. I mean, if it's good enough to protect our men and women in the military over in places like Afghanistan and Iraq, then damn it, we need to use it here on this border. And it absolutely, to me at least, from everything I've seen going down there, it doesn't make any sense to continue funneling money, billions. I mean, just aside from the 3.6 that we're talking about right now, that is like pennies compared to what it's going to cost to get the entire border done, and years. And in the meantime, we're going to have more people coming over. We're going to have more angel families. We're going to destroy ourselves from within if we don't think outside the box and put forward a system like what you have brought to us with this terror block. So I'm very happy to hear that we've got things moving in a positive direction with this.
It's taken a lot of effort to get the word out, because this is a military solution. I mean, there's 30,000 miles of HESCO barriers of various kinds that are used by the U.S. military today in Iraq and in Afghanistan. But I assure you that some of these forward posts that have had the missile attacks from Iran have been protected by HESCO products. And if it's good enough for the military, the out of the box is to get the civilian aspects, the civilian application of building a wall, to take a look at a military solution and to adapt it to make the modifications that are necessary to meet the requirements of the appropriations legislation. But HESCO is a very creative company. And look, we've got 1,350 miles unprotected on the border right now. The beauty of the HESCO TerraBlock system and the related products are they're all developed for rapid deployment. They can be put in between now and election day, and we could have the 1,350 miles secured. The cost, if we do the steel barriers, the 35-foot steel barriers, is going to cost $22 billion, and it's going to take over 4 years, because you can only do about 6 miles a day. It's never going to happen, because the Democrats know that they can delay. They're not going to do the appropriations. That amount of money, $22 billion, 4 years, which will extend all the way through the end of a second term of Donald Trump, which I'm increasingly believing he's going to have, by the way. At any rate, I think he will. And I think that the American people understand that we have a need for border protection. I mean, look, my family has sponsored families from El Salvador. We've sponsored families from Argentina. We believe in legal immigration, but with a wide open border, and Doug, you've walked this border. I've walked this border, and you see the 1,350 miles. I mean, I watched your videos. And I've been down there myself with the various Congress people and congressmen and congresswomen walking that border. There's nothing to prevent people from coming across from Mexico, including people from the Middle East, terrorists as well. Now we've got to be concerned about that. There's no barrier. There's nothing to stop them. This TerraBlock system and HESCO can have the creativity to match what is necessary. The fortunate part is given, and I attribute a lot of this, Doug, to you and to your audience, your great audience, and the word you've gotten out on this TerraBlock product, showing the videos, making it clear there's an alternative here to the wall of China. It's a 21st century wall, and it will work. And that's getting this message out. What you've done, I think, has been a great service to the nation and getting an innovative solution to this now in front of the appropriate people in the federal government, where I think we can actually get some demonstrations in process of the HESCO, TerraBlock, and related solutions, and have a fair evaluation of a solution that will give President Trump a major win, fulfilling a campaign promise to secure the border by election day at a cost that's going to be in the range of $1 billion.
Right. I am 100% sold on this product. And besides just the figures and the numbers that we hear from all the different agencies about what's happening and the drugs coming across and the MS-13 gang members and so forth and so forth. I know you've done this and we've done this recently. When we go down there and we physically talk to the people that live on the border and hear their stories of what they've had to go through and witness on their own land, everything from illegal immigrants killing their animals and doing horrible things to them, to just death and finding dead bodies out on their property, and the rape tree that we talked about. And it's just, the stories are horrific and nobody wants to cover that. And I get it. Okay. Fox News, and they do the best they can, but when they start talking about what we've talked about and shown, then maybe there's an FCC thing there or whatever. I don't know. I just can't imagine too many people at Fox wanting to discuss those things that we've shared. But that's the only way I believe we can wake people up and get them mad, get them engaged about how important it is to secure this border. And when you have a no-brainer situation like the terror block, it can put a lot of suffering away and allow people to thrive again down there, and put an end to, or at least slow down, the bad things that are happening in our country with the drug war and with the gang members and the sex trafficking and so forth. I can't thank you enough for bringing this to us, and I want to do more on it. I've got some great ideas that I came up with tonight. I haven't even had a chance to talk to my producer about, but I'm going to talk to him about it when the program's over tonight, and he'll get with you sometime in the next couple of days, that I think will be a good push for the terror block and help get the word out there even further than what we've been able to do so far. Tell everybody real quick, if you would, where they can go to get all the information about the terror block, as well as to follow you, sir.
Well, the terror block, if you just take a look at HESCO and terror block on the internet, TERRABLOCK and HESCO, just search those terms. You're going to see a lot of videos, and look at all the products that HESCO has, all the barriers, all the creative ways. This is the way when our military is deployed, and anyone who's been in a forward operation base, an FOB, in a combat zone is going to recognize the name HESCO. These are readily used products that are 21st century barriers and protection, rapid deployment. You can't wait years to have these steel barriers put in, and they wouldn't work. These are anti-climb with mesh faces. They have electronics, the perimeter defense system built into it. You can tell tunneling, you can tell climbing, you can coordinate it with the Border Patrol. This is a current solution, and it's cost effective. At $1 billion, we could secure the entire border. It's rapid deployment. And I think Doug will support anything you want to do. Believe me, it's terrablock.com. It's really hesco.com/terrablock. Look at the videos. Of course, my website is corsination.com. And I'm doing everything I can. The people from Provengo, who are the suppliers of TerraBlock, and Chris Barbarino, the founder and head of Provengo, has been on your show and will return. He asked me to kind of get the word out. A military solution will apply on the border. And if we would just get to the right people, and I think we're in the process now of, after 2 or 3 months, getting to the right people in the government that are hearing the message. And Doug, I can't tell you how important your show has been, and your viewers in getting to the federal government and getting to the Congress. Just put messages in, call the Congress, call the senators, call the White House, and say, look at the HESCO TerraBlock suite of products and how they can be adapted to meet the requirements on the border. We can secure this border. We can prevent terrorists. We can prevent drug trafficking. We can prevent the MS-13 gang members and the criminals. I'm fully in favor of legal immigration, but I want to desperately prevent there being more angel families. This is heartbreaking. Your previous interview, all the suffering that's gone on because we don't secure the border. We're a society of laws. Let's secure the borders and go forward with an immigration product that allows an immigration policy with the border secured that allows us to protect American citizens. I think that's our highest priority, and it's certainly my highest priority.
Hey, Dr. Corsi, this is producer Dustin Gold here real quick. I'm getting a lot of people in the audience asking, because they've been calling now for 4, 5, 6 weeks, the White House. Is there a specific person you recommend they want to know to lobby in the White House to send emails to? Who should they really be putting the heat on?
Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner is the one that the president has tasked to really look into this. In fact, after the contract that was awarded to the Fisher Company, which was very expensive and had been lobbied with political contributions, President Trump has asked Kushner to find a cheaper and a more effective and a quicker solution. Jared Kushner needs to know that HESCO has got the solution. Look at the TerraBlock product. Look at how it can be modified. Look at all the suite of products. We can secure the entire border, including tough terrain. And I've taken this project on as a passion, not just as a client or as a sponsor of Corsi Nation. And I've been honored to be able to do this. It's been one of my best and most passionate projects of my life to get to express to the American people that there is a solution that the military uses every day, already approved by the government, by the Department of Defense. It's a product that you can get through the federal services have approved this, a GSA approved product. Provengo can provide it. Chris Barbarino, who I've worked with now for months, is a gentleman and brilliant and passionate about this. We'll do everything we need to do to get this product brought forward and save American lives, and it can be done right now. And so, Douglas, anything you want from us, myself, Provengo, HESCO, will deliver to you to get this message across. And I can't thank your great audience enough for their passion. Continue the calls to the White House. Get the message to Jared Kushner.
Great. Thank you so much. And that is, you folks, Jared Kushner. There you go. That's the president's, which daughter is he married to? Do we know?
Oh, it's the stepson and it's a son-in-law. I was getting confused. It's son-in-law. And he's married to one of Trump's daughters, and he is in the White House and has been tasked by President Trump to find a efficient, better, quicker solution than the 35-foot steel wall. And I think Jared Kushner needs to know about the HESCO products, needs to know that we've got 30,000 miles of HESCO barriers already in Iraq and Afghanistan supporting troops. It's used in flood situations in the United States. This is a very, very flexible, modern 21st century product. It's flexible. It's adaptable. It's got intelligence built into it with the electronic system. Can coordinate with the Border Patrol and the others guarding the border. It's got to be looked at, and I have a passion to get this done. And Douglas, God bless you for getting this message across.
Thank you, sir. And so, folks, you know where we're going with this. Jared Kushner, hit him up on Twitter, on Facebook. Look him up. Get his phone number. It's all available on the internet, along with continuing to contact your members of Congress, obviously, and talk about this TerraBlock system. Dr. Corsi, thank you very, very much for coming on. You are a great American patriot. We love talking to you, sir, and we will continue this relationship as we move on 2020 and beyond, sir. We appreciate it.
I've been working on this for 15 years since I wrote the Minuteman book with Jim Gilchrist. This is a passion of my life. I want to secure the border. I want to protect American lives, and I can't thank you, Douglas, enough for all you've done to bring the message forth. You're a great American. It's my honor to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, folks, we will be right back with closing after this quick break. Hello, American patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code DOUG for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues. All right, and we're back. I want to thank my guests again, Dr. Corsi and Dan Goldrich, for taking time out of their day to come on and share their stories with you. We will continue to push to get this border secure for every American, even those Democrats and liberals that don't think it needs to be. And that's only because it hasn't affected anyone in their families yet. But sadly, that could happen at any moment. I told you at the beginning of the program that I would share with you about this veterans organization that plenty of people are donating money to. VoteVets.org. Let me read you a brief thing off their website here. VoteVets.org continues to focus on matters including but not limited to foreign policy, energy security, veterans, unemployment, and opening military service to lifelong Americans born to undocumented immigrants, as well as continued investment and care for veterans. More often than not, veterans have a stake in the top issues of the day, and VoteVets.org is committed to getting their voices heard on these issues. For that reason, VoteVets.org has and will continue to work with all progressive allies representing labor, immigration, gay and lesbian rights, and environmentalists when their issues coincide with the needs of troops and veterans. Now, that information in itself should have had a few red flags go off, but there's way more to that you need to be aware of. Here's what's happening financially for this group. First, let me tell you this. They have over 700,000 people supporting them throughout the 50 states, which include military members, veterans, and their families. They have state captains organized in all 50 states. They have over 50 million voter contacts since 2006, and they spend $5 million in direct mail phone calls and voter canvassing. Over $120 million have been raised since their inception. So Americans have donated, and this is probably an outdated number, but when this was put up here, have donated $120 million. I told you in the beginning of the program, when people say, hey, we're a veterans organization, we have all these guys that are on our board, guys and girls that served in Afghanistan, served in Iraq, some of them are injured, have the Purple Heart, we want to get vets in Congress, and that's what they're pushing. And you don't go in and read all the details about this group. The general outline is they're a veterans organization and they want to get vets in Congress. And you think, oh, that's great. Yeah, we need veterans in there. People that know about what's happening around the world. But here's the catch. They say in a few different locations on their website that they support Democrat and Republicans to be members of Congress. On their website, you click on what's called candidates. And their mission says, Political Action Committee is to elect veterans to public office, hold public officials accountable for their words and actions that impact America's 21st century service members, veterans, and their families, and fully support our men and women in uniform. Through Progressive, Vote Vets PAC has endorsed both Democrats and Republicans. And then you look at this list of all the people that they're supporting for federal offices to become members of Congress, senators, Congress members, state governors, and non-vets. And they're all Democrats, liberals, and Democrats that are far left-leaning. Are they veterans? All except for 3 are. But they're not conservatives, they're not Republicans. And when you click on the individual people that are vets, and some of them served in combat, and go to their websites and listen to some of the things they're talking about. For instance, Jackie Gordon, they're representing for Congress, U.S. House, New York, District 2. She talks about being a combat veteran and knowing all too well that there's no place in America for a weapon of war called the AR-15. And it must be taken away from the American citizens because no weapon of war should be in the hands of everyday people in America. That is batshit crazy. Just because you're a vet doesn't mean you have common sense or that you know what the hell you're talking about. Now, I hate to say horrible things about my fellow brothers and sisters, but I don't give a shit anymore when it comes to stuff like this. America needs to wake up when you're donating your money to organizations and realize who you're donating to. And if you clicked on the candidates and you went through all these people and you looked at what they support and what they're for, the first thought that would come to your mind is they were a veteran. And most of them, you'll also find hate, literally hate President Trump. The actual organization themselves, votevets.org, would like to see Trump impeached and charged with war crimes. That's how freaking crazy this organization is that people are donating money to and don't realize it. For instance, statement from votevets.org on the strike by Iran says this: this is a significant escalation by the Iranians and proof that claims that the killing of Qasem Soleimani was a de-escalating move were wrong. The statement from Iraq War veteran and chairman of Vote Vets, John Schultz, on tonight's retaliation strike by Iran, so that was a few nights ago, this is a significant escalation by the Iranians and proof that claims that the killing of this man was a de-escalating move or wrong. Unfortunately, and we pray we are wrong, this may not be the main event of their response. Donald Trump unleashed the spiral downward towards a deadly, reckless war with Iran as soon as he pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal and sent it into warp drive when he gave the order to kill a widely popular Iranian leader. I was in Iraq in 2011 and faced attacks from Iranians. This is bigger because Iran's IRGC has claimed responsibility, not their proxies. And it seems this is the first time attacks have come from within Iran. This is a major escalation. The next move may be an all-out war from Donald Trump that will cost us tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of American lives. We beg Congress to step in and rein in this reckless president. Well, folks, that is votevets.org. Stop donating money to this organization that are a bunch of liberal pansy ass pieces of shit. And that's my brothers and sisters on the left that for whatever reason in their life chose to not want to protect America, instead want to do everything that American patriots are against, such as taking away our gun rights and our Constitution. And damn it, to a veterans organization that is actively trashing our president for taking out a terrorist that killed men and women on the battlefields in Iraq and Afghanistan, should be removed immediately. Their 501c should be yanked by the federal government. There's no right for these people to be able to do what they're doing. And it's just a small portion, but damn it, they grew from 2006 to raking in over $120 million. And I guarantee you, damn near every penny of that, the people that donated have no clue what I just shared with you. Don't take my word for it. Go look them up. Go to their Facebook site, go to their Twitter site, go to the website, votevets.org, and see what these no-good bastards are doing to our country and what they support. That, my friends, is the most important thing I could put out to you about veterans organizations that are run rogue and aren't protecting those of us that believe in our forefathers and the Constitution of the United States. And the last thing I want to tell you is we are going down to Virginia. I will be there on the 20th. I will be reporting live. I'll be doing many a live broadcast. I'll be joining my other brothers and sisters in arms as we will go down and we will stand up for Virginians that the Democrat now run state is trying to take away the rights of the citizens to bear arms. They actually want to bring it to a point where the only gun you're allowed to have would be something that, for instance, our founding fathers had when they wrote the Constitution. Definitely, they want to get rid of all semi-automatic weapons. And it goes on and on and on. What I want you to do is I want you to go to vcdl.org, which stands for Virginia Citizens Defense League. That is who is putting on this very, very important rally on the 20th to stand up and show the Democrats that are running this state of Virginia that this is unwelcomed. Not only do we need as many men and women that support our Second Amendment and our Constitution to be there, but we need those that believe in the rule of law, whether you have a weapon or don't have a weapon. Those that believe that our forefathers set this country up and its amendments and everything in the Constitution for us to thrive and be a wonderful nation. And think how many people have lost their lives fighting for our Constitution, and for this state of Democrats to go in there and try and destroy it is unacceptable, and we're not going to stand for it. And I'll tell you who else isn't going to stand for it. The county sheriffs throughout, I believe it's over 100 now in the state of Virginia, have come out and said, we will not stand for this. We will not arrest anyone with this unconstitutional laws that you guys are trying to pass in the legislation in Virginia. We're not going to do it. And then the Democrats said, well, then we will get our governor, who's also a Democrat, to enact the National Guard to arrest all these sheriffs and go door to door and take away guns from the law-abiding citizens that now will be lawbreakers because, oh, they own semi-automatic weapons. Folks, that's batshit crazy. So then the sheriff said, okay, then we will deputize our citizens. Do you see what I see? A powder keg about to go off. Let's pray that doesn't happen. I sure don't want to see bloodshed in Virginia. But I'm going to tell you this much. If they're allowed to get away with this in Virginia and we don't stand up to it, the other Democrat states across America are watching what's happening in Virginia, and they will be tuned in this year. And if they get away with it in Virginia, it's going to spread like a fungus across America. And the other Democrat states are going to do the exact same thing. And the Democrats will go after and strip away your guns, just like those that are running to be the next president against Trump. They've already said, you elect me, I will take away their guns, especially the scary weapon of war, AR-15. Sadly, those stupid asses don't realize the difference of a weapon of war and an AR-15. It's like night and day, my friends. It's not the same damn thing. And in their world, it is. Again, I would like to thank all my guests, those of you that are able to donate to any of our causes, whether it's the trip we're fixing to be doing down in Virginia or our border trips. Please take the time to do so. Those of you that have already done so, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Team Ducote is doing everything we can to bring you the facts, the truth, and expose corruption, whether it's members of Congress or veterans organizations. I don't care. I will take the hit for it, and I will take it with pride because, damn it, I am an American patriot. And if you are too, have my six like I will have yours. We need to band together more so today than we ever have in our history, because there are those that are wanting to take away all of our history and everything that we've ever fought for. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, our president, and our country. God bless each and every one of you. And for now, I'm Douglas Ducote, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed night.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially